Rain poured on the outer edges of the slave depot, turning the dirt floor into thick mud. Inside, under flickering lamps, rows of cages lined the walls. Most were empty. One was not. Inside the farthest cage, a figure sat curled and shivering, covered in grime, filth, and dried blood. Nobody could see her face, just tangled strands of pale hair and strange glowing patterns on her back, barely visible under the muck. A group of workers walked by without looking twice. She was just another dirty alien girl, not worth more than a cleaning order. But Nathan stopped. He wasn't a soldier, not anymore. Just a human maintenance worker hired to clean, repair, and scrub what others didn't want to touch. He had been sent here with one order: wash the thing in the cage and report back. No one cared what species she was, no one told him where she came from. As he stepped closer, the glow under her skin pulsed like soft moonlight trapped beneath the surface, faint, rhythmic like breathing. That's when he realized she wasn't asleep, and she wasn't just shivering from cold. She was listening. Nathan crouched down. "Can you hear me?" She didn't move. He noticed her wrists, thin and bruised. Chains were locked too tight, and her feet were swollen from being left in the wet for too long. She looked broken, but still, the glow in her skin never faded. He spoke again. "I'm not here to hurt you. I just need to get you cleaned up." Answer. A guard walked by and chuckled. "Don't waste your breath. That one doesn't talk. Filthy little creature hasn't said a word in days. Just clean her and be done." Nathan stood up, hiding his discomfort. But something in him wouldn't let go of the sight. She wasn't just dirty, she was hidden, buried beneath layers of pain and silence. He had seen soldiers with that same look after war. It wasn't just dirt, it was something else. In the cleaning chamber, he filled a bucket with warm water, added soap, then grabbed fresh towels. She was brought in by two guards and shoved down roughly onto a metal stool. Her chains rattled as she sat, still silent. Her body stiffened but didn't fight. Nathan asked them to step outside. "I need space. And if you keep pushing her, you'll break her bones. She's already half dead." The guards rolled their eyes, but left now alone with her. Nathan knelt again. "I'm not going to hurt you, I promise." She slowly raised her head. It was the first time he saw her eyes. Large, violet, and glowing faintly like her skin. Her face was thin but not ugly. Under the grime, he saw beauty, not the kind from magazines or holograms, with something older, something haunting. He dipped the cloth and gently placed it against her shoulder. She flinched, but didn't run. The grime began to peel away. Beneath it, her skin was pale blue and shimmered like pearls in moonlight. "You're glowing," he whispered. Her eyes met his again, wide and unsure. Then she whispered barely, audible, "Does that mean you will sell me too?" Nathan froze. His hand stopped moving. "No, I'm not here to sell anyone." She looked down again. "They always say that." He wanted to say something comforting, something heroic, but he couldn't lie. He was just a janitor, a man with a bucket and a sponge. But something in him made a quiet promise in that moment he would never leave her like this. As he gently cleaned the wounds on her arms, more of her natural glow appeared. Lines across her skin formed shapes, not tattoos, but patterns. Like stars across her body, she was more than some random alien thrown into a cage. She was something rare, and someone wanted her buried. Nathan knew then this wasn't just a washing job. This was the beginning of something dangerous. Outside the chamber, the guards laughed with another man in a red uniform whispering things about auctions and high credits. Inside, Nathan whispered, "I don't know your name, but I'm going to help you somehow." She didn't answer, but for the first time, her eyes didn't look afraid, just tired. The glowing skin on her arm warmed under his touch. Her breathing slowed, and far above, a sensor blinked red. Someone was watching, and they didn't like what they saw. The next morning, the depot lights blinked weakly as the power grid struggled. It was still raining, but the storm had grown colder. Nathan returned, early, carrying a clean blanket, soft clothes, and a small metal case hidden under his arm. He didn't tell anyone he was coming. He didn't ask permission either. The girl was still in the cleaning chamber, chained to the stool where he had left her. Someone had thrown a torn towel over her shoulders during the night, but it was soaked now, and she was shivering. Nathan knelt beside her again. "I brought something for you." She didn't move. He carefully placed the blanket around her and opened the metal case. Inside were a few supplies he had stolen from the medical wing: ointment for wounds, nutrient paste, a bottle of clean water, and gloves. He pulled the gloves on and dipped the towel in warm water once more. As he cleaned her neck, she finally whispered, "Why do you care?" He paused. "Because you look like someone who's been hurt too many times." She stayed quiet, but her eyes turned to him. There was no glow in them today, only exhaustion. "I saw the bruises on your back," he said. "They hurt you bad." "They wanted me to stop glowing," she answered in a low voice. "They beat me when the light didn't fade." Nathan felt a chill down his spine. "Why?" "They said my skin made people nervous, that I looked cursed." Nathan leaned closer. "You don't look cursed, you look alive." She looked down at her arms. The glowing lines there were faint, flickering like candlelight. "I'm not from this planet," she said softly. "I was taken from my village far away. A place with mountains and blue trees. They captured me at night. Did anyone try to save you? Her eyes filled with pain. They killed the ones who tried. Nathan didn't ask more. He just nodded and applied the healing salve to her shoulders as he touched her gently. The glowing lines responded. They brightened, glowing brighter wherever his hands moved, even through gloves. He felt a slight heat, not dangerous, just warm. He leaned back, watching the strange light ripple across her collarbone and chest like moonlight on water. Does it always do that? He asked. No, she said. Only when I feel safe. That answer hit him hard. He looked around, making sure no cameras were watching. Then he whispered, if you trust me, I'll help you escape. Her breath caught. They'll hunt me. Not if I take you far. I have friends off-world, people who can hide you. She studied his face as if trying to decide if he was lying. Why? She asked again. You don't even know me. Because I've seen enough suffering, he replied. I used to fight in the war. I saw children burned and mothers crying. I swore if I ever had a chance to help someone again, I would. She looked down. You still don't know my name? Then tell me. She hesitated, then whispered orally. Nathan smiled. That's beautiful. Suddenly a loud knock echoed on the chamber door. A voice shouted, time's up, human. The auction starts in 1 hour. Nathan stood quickly, wiping his hands and hiding the medical case behind a panel in the wall. I'll come back, he whispered to her. Don't. Show them your glow. She nodded, pulling the blanket tightly around her. 2 guards entered and dragged her from the stool. She didn't scream. She didn't fight. But her eyes stayed locked on Nathan's until the door slammed shut. He waited until the hallway was quiet again. Then he pressed a panel under the sink. A small data chip popped out. He had copied the depot's schedule last night. Every transport, guard shift, and auction listing. Orally was listed under item 7G. Unstable female, low-class specimen, possible mutation. He crushed the chip in his hand. Back in the auction chamber, buyers began to gather. The room was wide, circular, and cold. At the center was a glass stage, and one by one, cages were brought forward for display. Orally was next. Nathan slipped into the back room, dressed now in a technician's uniform. No one noticed him. He carried a toolbox and a thin blade tucked under his shirt. He checked his wristwatch. 3 minutes until her turn. Orally stood behind the curtain. Her ankles shackled, her glowing skin hidden under a rough cloth. But something was different. She was standing tall now, not crouching. Her eyes were fierce. She had made a choice. Nathan whispered through his gums, be ready. When the lights go out, run straight to the hallway. I'll be there. The voice in his ear replied, we've got the back gate open. Just get her to the tunnel. The auctioneer raised his hand. Next specimen, item 7G, rare bloodline. Energy reactive skin, possible bioluminescent traits. Bidding starts now. As the curtain opened, the crowd leaned forward. Hungry eyes and greedy hands ready to buy. But just before they could speak, the depot's lights flickered once, then went dark. A single scream echoed through the silence. And she was gone. Smoke filled the auction chamber as backup lights flashed red. Sirens buzzed, and the crowd screamed in panic. Buyers pushed each other toward the exits, tripping over broken chairs and wires. In the center of it all, the cage where Orally had been moments ago stood open, empty. Guards shouted orders, but no one could hear over the chaos. Nathan ran through a side corridor, holding Orally's hand tightly. Her chains clanked with every step, but she didn't slow down. Her glowing skin flickered under the loose cloak he had thrown over her. Left, he yelled. Through the storage, she turned sharply, slipping once on the wet floor, but Nathan caught her arm. His fingers closed around hers again. He couldn't lose her now. Back in the control room, one of the depot's directors slammed his fist on the table. Who let her out? Shut every exit. I want that thing back in a cage. Cameras all over the building blinked and then turned black. Someone had taken over the network. In the storage hall, Orally breathed hard, clutching her side. I can't. We'll run much longer. You don't have to, Nathan said. He stopped beside a vent in the wall and kicked it open. Crawl through here. It leads outside. She hesitated. What about you? I'll meet you on the other side. She stared at him, unsure, then finally nodded. She crawled in, and her glowing feet vanished into the shadows. Nathan turned, ready to block the hall, but he wasn't alone anymore. A tall man in dark armor stepped from the shadows. He wasn't a guard. He moved too quietly, like a predator. His helmet had no face, just a black screen with 2 glowing red eyes. You let her out, the man said. Nathan raised his fists. Who are you? The man didn't answer. He reached into his coat and pulled out a long silver baton. She's not yours. She belongs to the buyer. You've cost me a lot of credits. I don't care, Nathan growled. She's not a thing. The man stepped forward, slow and calm. Nathan moved first, swinging hard. The blow landed, but the man barely flinched. He grabbed Nathan's arm and twisted it, throwing him into the wall. Nathan grunted in pain, but he didn't stay down. He reached for a broken pipe and swung again, this time striking the helmet. The red eyes blinked once, then sparked. The man stepped back. Nathan used the moment to grab the vent and dive inside. He crawled fast, ignoring the pain in his arm. Behind him, Metal clanged as the vent was pulled apart, but it was too late. Nathan had already dropped out the other end, landing in a muddy alley behind the depot. Orally stood there shivering in the cold rain. "You're hurt," she said, rushing to his side. He winced. "Just a bruise. We need to keep moving." They ran through the back streets of the slave district, dodging patrol drones and merchants. The city was loud, even at night, steam rising from the vents, people shouting, and neon lights flashing across broken windows. It was a world full of darkness, but Orly's glow was like a small star in the chaos. After 10 minutes, they reached an old tunnel covered in vines and trash. "This is it," Nathan said. "The tunnel leads to the edge of the city." She stopped before entering. "What happens after that?" she asked. He looked at her gently. "Then we get on a freighter off-world, somewhere safe." Orly hesitated. "They'll chase us. They'll have to catch us first," Nathan replied. They entered the tunnel. The walls were damp, and water dripped from the ceiling. Rats scurried past their feet. But it was better than chains, better than cages. They reached a metal door near the end of the tunnel. Nathan tapped 3 times, then paused, then twice, more. It opened. A woman with short gray hair stood inside. Her eyes widened when she saw Orly. "You brought her out alive," she said. "I didn't think you'd make it." "She's with us now," Nathan said. "We need to move fast." They were led into a small room with crates and stolen tech. Orly sat down, breathing hard. Her skin still glowed, but it was weaker now. Her body was shaking. Nathan crouched beside her. "We're safe for now." She looked at him, her voice soft. "You could have left me, why didn't you?" He touched her hand. "Because the world already gave up on you. I didn't want to be like them." She smiled for the first time. Outside, a silent drone hovered above the tunnel entrance. A red light blinked once, then it flew away. Far across the city in a high tower, the armored man stood in front of a screen. He watched Orly's glow in the dark. He turned to someone behind him and said, "Send the hunters. I want the girl. And bring me the human alive." Rain stopped falling, but the clouds still hung heavy over the edge of the city. The tunnels behind them were now sealed. Inside the small hideout, Orly lay on a thin mattress, her skin still glowing softly through the bandages. Her breathing was slow. She hadn't eaten much, but the warmth had returned to her eyes. Nathan stood near the exit, his arm still sore from the fight. He kept checking the scanner on his wrist. Every few seconds, it blinked yellow. That meant something was close, but not too close yet. Beside him, the older woman, Captain Lysa, checked her rifle. "You know they'll come for her, right?" "I know," Nathan said. "And for you, I know that too." Lysa looked at him with sharp eyes. "Why risk your life for one glowing girl?" Nathan didn't answer. He glanced back at Orly. "She didn't ask for this. She didn't choose to be taken or sold. Someone has to stand with her." Lysa didn't argue again. She loaded another clip into her weapon. Outside the building, 3 black ships landed without a sound. Their engines hummed low, almost like growling. Tall figures stepped out. They wore cloaks that moved without wind. Their faces were hidden behind long bone-like masks. The hunters had arrived. One knelt and pressed his hand to the ground. A green glow spread across the soil and lines appeared showing every footstep, every heat trail, every breath taken in the last hour. One set of tracks glowed brighter than the rest, bioluminescent blood. The lead hunter nodded once. "They're 2 minutes ahead," he said. Inside, Nathan's scanner turned red. "They're here," he whispered. Orly sat up quickly. "What do we do?" "We move," Lysa answered. They grabbed their gear. Nathan wrapped a cloak around Orly again and took her hand. "There's an old launch platform through the canyon," Lysa said. "It's buried but still works. I can get you 2 off this planet." Orly stood tall. "I won't go if you're staying to fight." Nathan smiled faintly. "I'm not staying. I'm getting you out of here." A moment later, they slipped through the back exit. The hunters were already close. They moved like shadows. No sound, no words. One of them raised a strange device to the air. It pointed toward the hidden tunnel. They moved again, now faster. In the canyon, wind picked up dust and sand. Dry vines twisted around rusted railings. Old launch platforms stood like broken towers, abandoned for years. Nathan and Lysa helped Orly down a slope. Her legs were weak, but she didn't stop moving. Suddenly, Lysa raised her rifle and fired. A bolt of energy lit the rocks behind them. A hunter dropped from the cliff and rolled into cover. "They're here," she shouted. Nathan pulled Orly behind an old transport crate. Another blast hit the crate and sent pieces flying. "Stay down," he said. Orly closed her eyes. Her skin began to glow brighter. The patterns on her arms moved like rivers of light. Nathan stared. "What are you doing?" "I can blind them," she said. "Just for a moment, but I need you to trust me." He nodded. She stepped out from behind the crate, arms raised. The hunters spotted her instantly and moved in. But before they could fire, her body lit up, not like a lamp, but like a small star. The entire canyon filled with white-blue light. The hunters screamed. Blinded. Nathan grabbed her again, shielding her as they ran toward the launch tower. Lysa covered them, firing again and again until her rifle overheated. "Go," she shouted. "I'll hold them off." Nathan stopped. "No, come with us." "I can't. Someone has to close the gate behind you." She winked. Besides, I'm not as fast as you young fools. Orally reached for her. Thank you, Lysa. Gave her a gentle push. Make this mean something. Nathan and Orly climbed the final steps into the old launch pod. Dust covered the console. Wires hung like vines. He wiped the screen and powered it up. Systems came online. Engines blinked green. Hold on, Nathan said. Outside. The hunters fired one final blast toward the pod, but Lysa's last grenade sent a shockwave across the canyon, knocking them back. Inside the pod, the floor shook. Engines roared. Orly grabbed Nathan's hand. I'm scared, he smiled. Me too. But we're going home now. The pod launched into the sky, rising fast, leaving the broken city behind. Below them, the hunters stared up in silence. One of them raised a communicator. They've escaped. On the other side, a cold voice answered. Then follow. The stars outside the pod windows stretched like silver threads as the engine pushed them beyond the planet's gravity. Space was dark and silent, but inside the small escape pod, Orly's soft glow painted the walls in waves of blue light. Nathan sat beside her, his breath slow, eyes fixed on her face. She looked peaceful now, though her hands still trembled. The moment the pod left the surface, she had collapsed in his arms, not from wounds, but from everything she had held in for too long. Nathan wrapped a blanket around her and whispered, "You're safe, just rest." Her voice was quiet. "They'll follow us, I know," he said. "But they'll have to catch us first." The console beeped softly. The pod's navigation system was still searching for a destination. Nathan tapped on the screen. Only one path showed green, an old mining colony orbiting a gas giant. Not perfect, but it was far from slave routes. He selected the course. The pod adjusted its direction. The stars shifted, then Orly moved again. She sat up slowly and looked out the window. Her glowing eyes filled with reflection from the starlight. "I've never been off-world before," she said. Nathan smiled. "You're doing great." "I thought space would feel colder," she whispered. "Not when you're with someone," he replied. She turned toward him. "You were a soldier, weren't you?" Nathan nodded. "Years ago." "Did you fight to protect people like me?" "No," he said quietly. "I fought because I was told to. I only started protecting people after the war was over." Orly reached for his hand. "Then I'm glad I met you now, not before." Her touch was warm. The glowing patterns on her skin wrapped around her fingers like gentle light vines. They pulsed softly, in sync with her heartbeat. Nathan looked down at her hand in his. "What is this glow? Is it part of your species?" She nodded. "Yes, but mine is different. When I was young it was faint, but after my mother died, it grew stronger. The elders said I was a heartborn, a rare type who can link their light with others." "Does it hurt?" "No," she said. "It responds to emotions. Fear dims it. Hope strengthens it. And when I feel close to someone, it wraps around them." Nathan blinked. The soft shimmer on his skin where she touched him wasn't a trick. Her light was spreading across his hand. "Is this supposed to happen?" he asked. She looked down, cheeks warming. "Only if I trust you." Nathan couldn't speak for a second. He wasn't used to things like this. He had fought in cold mud, lost friends in dark halls, and spent years alone. He didn't know how to hold something so bright, but he didn't. "Pull away." The pod beeped again. A warning light turned orange. Nathan checked the screen. A ship was following fast. "Looks like we've got company," he said. Orly's light dimmed. "It's them." Nathan scanned the signal. "It's small. Maybe a scout. We can't outrun them, but we can trick them." He flipped switches, powered down the pod's signature trail, and veered toward a debris field. Broken remains of an old battle long forgotten. Giant plates of metal floated like ghost ships, spinning slowly in the dark. "We're hiding here?" she asked. He nodded. "If we stay cold and quiet, they won't see us." The pod entered the wreck field. Everything outside was jagged and massive. Pieces of destroyed ships drifted like forgotten bones. Nathan turned off every light. The pod went dark. Only Orly's glow remained. She quickly pulled the blanket over herself. "They'll see me." Nathan moved close, wrapping her in his arms. "Then I'll cover the rest." They stayed still, breathing slowly. Minutes passed. Outside, a black ship flew by. It paused, then kept moving. They didn't see them. Nathan didn't let go until the radar cleared. He exhaled slowly. "We're good." Orly peeked out from the blanket. "You didn't have to cover me." "Yes, I did," he said softly. Her hands found his again. The light returned. Brighter this time. "We can't run forever," she said. "They'll keep coming. Then we'll find help. I know someone on the colony. He owes me." "Are you sure he'll help?" "He helped save my life once, I'm sure." The pod left the debris field and entered orbit around the gas giant. The colony appeared below, rings of stations built around the planet, glowing with old lights and dark secrets. "We'll land soon," Nathan said, "and I promise, no cages ever again." Orly looked at the glowing clouds of the gas giant swirling below. She placed her forehead gently against Nathan's. "I don't want to hide forever," she whispered. "I want to be free." "Then, we'll make you free," he whispered back. Neither of them saw the second ship following quietly from far behind. And on that ship, a voice spoke into a cold headset. "The Heartborn is alive. She's not just rare. She's royal." Asterisk the colony station around the gas giant groaned like an old machine. Its metal walls were rusted, lights flickered, and every hallway smelled like oil and sweat. But to Orally it felt like a new world. No chains, no cages, just freedom. Even if it was hiding in the shadows. Nathan led her through a narrow corridor marked Section 9 Maintenance. He wore a borrowed coat with a hood. Orally kept her glowing skin covered with thick cloth. Still, every now and then, the fabric shimmered faintly. "Where are we going?" she whispered. "To someone I trust," Nathan said. "He saved my life once. If anyone can help us stay hidden, it's him." They stopped at a large rusted door. Nathan knocked 3 times, paused, then knocked twice more. It slid open with a hiss. A tall, broad-shouldered man with dark eyes and a scar across his jaw stepped out. His name was Rico. He wore heavy boots and smelled like fuel. "Never thought I'd see your face again," Rico said. "And you brought a girl glowing like starlight." "She's the reason I'm still alive," Nathan said. "We need a place to lay low." Rico studied Orally. His face tightened. "She's not just glowing. I've seen those markings before. Not on slaves, on rulers." Nathan stepped forward. "What do you mean?" Rico motioned them inside. "Come in and lock the door." Inside, the room was full of tools, old ship parts and crates. Rico pulled out a worn datapad and tapped it. A hologram appeared, a tall alien woman with skin glowing like Oraly's, her head held high, wearing robes of flowing light. "That's Queen Ellerin," Rico said. "From the lost world of Alexia. 20 years ago, her planet was destroyed by invaders. They said no one from the royal bloodline survived." Orally stared at the image. Her hands trembled. "That's my mother." Nathan turned to her. "Are you sure?" She nodded slowly. "She told me stories, but I was very young when the soldiers came. She hid me before they stormed the temple." Rico's voice lowered. "If that's true, then you're not just rare. You're the last royal of Alexia, and that means you're valuable. Too valuable." Nathan stood straight. "We don't care about crowns. We just want to get far from the hunters." Rico shook his head. "It's too late for that. You're not running from slavers now. You're running from the syndicate. They don't want to sell her. They want to use her, her blood, her light, her power." Orally took a shaky breath. "What power?" Rico tapped again. Another image showed old symbols. "The Heartborn can awaken lost tech from her world gates. Weapons, healing chambers. It's locked to her blood. That's why they'll never stop." Nathan clenched his fists. "We have to get her to someone who can protect her." "You'll need a fast ship and a fake ID core," Rico said. "I can get those, but not for free. I'll need a favor in return." Nathan didn't blink. "Name it." "There's a signal tower in Sector 4. I've been trying to jam syndicate scanners, but they reactivated the tower last week. If you take it out, I'll get you everything you need." Nathan nodded. "Done." Rico handed him a small black pack. "It's a pulse bomb, silent. Just stick it to the main relay. You have 1 hour." Nathan turned to Orally. "Will you be safe here?" Rico nodded. "No one knows this hideout but me." But Orally wasn't looking at Nathan. She was staring at the hologram again. Her mother's face, her people's forgotten light. "What if I could bring my world back?" she whispered. Nathan hesitated. "Do you want that?" She looked at him with clear, steady eyes. "I don't want a crown, but I want to stop hiding. I want to help others like me." Nathan nodded. "Then let's survive this first." He left through the side exit, disappearing into the lower halls of the colony. Orally sat down on a crate, deep in thought. Rico studied her again. "You're stronger than you look, girl." She turned toward him. "I don't feel strong you are, and that light of yours. It's not just pretty, it scares them. That's why they want to control it." Suddenly the console near the door lit up. "Motion alert." Rico moved fast, checking the feed. A dark shape appeared on the camera. Tall, cloaked, mask glowing red. The hunter. He was already in the colony. Rico turned to Orally. "He's found us." She stood up. "Then we don't run." "You should," Rico said. "I've seen what those things do." Orally stepped forward. "I'm done hiding. I want him to see me. I want him to know I remember." "Remember what?" She held her hand out. Light moved across her palm like flowing fire. His voice. "He was the one who gave the order. He's the one who killed my mother." Outside, the hunter moved closer and Orally's light began to burn brighter than ever before. The lights in the hideout dimmed. A strange pressure filled the air, like the space itself was holding its breath. Orally stood tall, her glowing skin now shining like a rising star. She was no longer just a lost girl or a slave. She was the last of a royal bloodline, and her memory had returned. She remembered her mother's voice, the smell of blue blossoms in the temple, the warmth of the throne chamber. But most of all, she remembered the day it was all taken. The night soldiers came wearing black masks with red eyes, and one voice gave the final command. Rico watched the door as it beeped once. "He's here." Orally turned toward the entrance. "Open it." "You're not serious," Rico said. "I need to face him." Before Rico could argue, the door slid open. The hunter stepped inside, tall and calm. His mask glowed red, just like the one in her memory. He didn't raise a weapon. He didn't speak. He just stared at her like he was seeing a ghost. "You remember me?" Orally said. The hunter tilted his head. "You destroyed Valexia," she continued. "You gave the order to kill my mother. Still no words. Rico raised his weapon, but Aurelie held out a hand. I don't need guns, she said softly. I have light. Suddenly her skin flared. The room filled with blue and white brightness, waves pulsing from her chest like thunder made of starlight. The hunter staggered, caught off guard. The patterns on Aurelie's arms moved faster now, forming ancient symbols. Her feet lifted slightly from the ground, and her voice grew strong. My name is Aurelie, daughter of Elerin, heir of Velexia, and I am not yours. The hunter raised his hand and fired, but the blast stopped before it touched her. The light around her caught it, froze it, and shattered it like glass. He charged. She raised both hands, and the light exploded from her. The floor cracked, walls shook, and every console blinked out. The hunter was thrown back, crashing through the crates, his mask breaking, revealing his face. He was no monster, just a man, but one filled with hate. You think your glow makes you strong? He hissed. Aurelie stepped forward. No, but my people's blood runs through me. You killed our bodies, not our spirit, Rico shouted from behind. Aurelie. Now she opened her hands again. The light bent around her fingers and shaped into something new, not just glow, but a memory, made real. Her mother's voice echoed in the room, a holographic echo powered by her blood. If you can hear this, the voice said, then my child has survived. The hunter froze. The hologram of Queen Elerin looked at him. And if you stand before her now, know this, she does not carry fear. She carries my fire. Aurelie stepped into the center of the light. The hunter lunged one last time, but Nathan arrived first. He slammed into the hunter from behind, throwing him to the floor. They fought, fists landing hard, but the hunter was stronger. He grabbed Nathan's throat. Aurelie reached for them. Her light surged again, this time not in anger, but in protection. The hunter screamed as the light wrapped around him, burning into his skin. Nathan rolled free. Gasping, the hunter collapsed, not dead, but broken. Aurelie knelt beside Nathan. You hurt, he smiled weakly. Nothing serious. Just glad I didn't miss the ending. She helped him stand. Rico looked around at the ruined hideout. Well, that was loud. The whole sector probably felt that. Aurelie nodded. Then let them feel it. Let them all know the light of Velexia still burns. Outside sirens blared, but they weren't coming to capture, they were fleeing. The light Aurelie released had reached the outer towers. Cameras picked it up, and people began to whisper, the name of a forgotten star. Valexia. Nathan turned to her. What do we do now? She looked out the window at the stars. We go back where? To my homeworld, she said, to the ruins. I'll rebuild it. Not as a queen, as someone who knows pain, who knows chains, but chose freedom. Rico nodded. You'll need more than hope. I'll have him, she said, smiling at Nathan. And me, Rico added. You're royalty now. Might as well travel with a crew. They walked into the dawnlight pouring from the broken ceiling. Far away, across deep space, old systems, long dead, began to blink to life. Valexian technology, long lost, had felt the call of her blood. One by one, old satellites lit up and the stars made room for the return of the last light of Valex.